So, Niners coming off a loss to the Ravens, they got absolutely just rocked. Brock Purdy looked pretty bad. Was kind of seeing ghosts out there. 4 interceptions. He got a stinger. And then Sam Darnold came in.
Looked like he was healthy.
And then you saw him kind of telling Shanahan, Coach, I'm good, I'm good. And Shanahan smartly had the play sheet up so he couldn't read his lips. But you got to imagine he said something along the lines of, Brock, you've thrown 4 picks tonight. I'm not putting you back in the football game. You look terrible out there.
And they actually had an opportunity there, right? You know,
Arnold looked half decent until he took that sack. But, I mean, look, you guys know the San Francisco 49ers. It's the best, most talented team in football, top down, minus the quarterback position. 52 out of 53 of the men on that roster are elite. And then you've got Brock Purdy, who, when he's playing within himself and he's doing what he knows he's capable of doing and he's confident, he's a great game manager at worst. He's a really good game managing quarterback. Certainly enough.
Put great by his name by any means, but
Trevor Siemian was enough to hang 27 on this defense.
Yeah.
So Brock Purdy, I'm not too worried about in that regard. I don't think we have a chance at hell. We abandoned the keys to the victory. Going to talk about just more generally what would we like to see, because at this point we don't want to win.
Well, it's a team full of weapons. I mean, why don't you just touch on the 49ers weapons real
Christian
quick.
McCaffrey, Debo Samuel,
offensively and defensively, right?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. I mean, even Juwan Jennings.
That's
is a
why
good
Brock Purdy's
player.
successful.
Of course, yeah. And something to monitor, they were down to their 3rd string left tackle tonight.
Yeah.
Trent Williams tweaked his groin. The backup got hurt. So I don't know how maybe their backup right tackle swung over. I don't know how they made it work. But that was a factor late in that game. So that's something to keep in mind. We're still not doing great on the pass rush front, so not too worried about that. I think Trent Williams will probably be fine. It didn't look like that serious. He was walking around and all that. I think it was – you wonder if that game was back and forth the whole night and Brock hadn't thrown 4 interceptions. Maybe Trent Williams plays through that tweaked groin. But things start to fall apart at a certain point. You're looking at a Super Bowl run. Tonight's not your night. Let the guy get a breath, right?
Yeah.
Defensively, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Dre Greenlaw, Javon Hargrave, Fred Warner. That's not even to mention their secondary, which is great.
This is why I love the Dom scouting report. Listen to this kid. I couldn't name 3 players.
I was going to say, do any of those names ring a bell to you?
They all ring a bell. And if you ask me to remember them off the top of my head, I'd have a hard time.
I got a problem, Pop. I got a problem.
It's awesome.
Something's wrong.
But the San Fran's still number 1 seed in the conference, so the game definitely means a lot to them.
They've got to win out in order to maintain that status at this point.
Yeah.
They control their own destiny, but they do have to win the next 2 games.
They don't have to, mathematically. But
that's the way to guarantee it.
Yeah.
Without needing help. If they want to control their own destiny, they need to win out.
Yeah, you're right.
Game means something to them. They're going to smack us. 13.5 points for the 49ers, just to give you guys an idea. We're going to do the predictions in a second. But that's where the expectations
We've
are.
seen them swoon a little bit in situations, especially when they've been nicked up. So you brought up the offensive line, and I think if Jacoby does start, I think we're going to see a different look out of that offense than what we've been seeing, a more confident look. So you never know. It could end up being a bit more competitive than we think. But
maybe
we'll see.
I mean, the thing is, it sounds crazy, but I think their defense actually played pretty decent against the Ravens last night. It was just Lamar standing on his head and making all these off-schedule plays.
Whenever your offense keeps turning the ball over, right, it's tough on a defense.
Exactly. So I think Jacoby, Sam, don't necessarily think it matters. But, Pop, what are some things you want to see in this game? We know we want to see a loss. We're playing for draft position at this point.
Yeah, no keys to victory, unfortunately.
Yeah, we decided to skip over that. But what are some things you want to see from the team? Any individuals or maybe just some general team performance things you're looking for?
I mean, just maybe it's an old man reference, but not go out there and look like the bad news bears. I mean, just let's look like a solid performing football team. And that's why I'd like to see Jacoby in, because it'd just be interesting to see how they perform. And I do think it would do Sam some good to take a step back, but really just to compete, and not to do it in garbage time where we just sort of make a run at it and come back. Although we did take the lead against the Jets, which credit is due there. But yeah, just to see him compete, have a competitive football game, and not just embarrass ourselves out there. It's a low bar. That's about as good as I got, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would.
And see some good individual performances. See maybe a Chris Rodriguez play well. See some good things out of our receivers. Maybe a Dotson, have a good game. Defensively, same thing. Seemed like we got a little bit better performance out of our young corners. Maybe see a little bit of that continue. See some of the young guys flash. Forbes played anyway a little better.
Yeah,
this past game.
Yeah, I'd like to see Terry McLaurin get his name called a few times. I'd like to see Deron Payne get his name called a few times. I'd like to see some of those big name, big money guys that we're tied to going forward. I'd like to see something out of them, which is why Jacoby maybe makes a little more sense to get something there. Excited about Chris Rodriguez. I heard about an MRI. Don't really know what's going on there.
I didn't hear that.
Hope he's okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misheard something. We were kind of hitting balls in the garage on the simulator there. So we'll see what's going on there. But he was probably the most exciting thing about last week was the way he was running the football and kind of getting downhill and taking care of business. So we'll see. I mean, maybe we got a stud with him. I told you, I think he looks like he kind of runs like B-Rob, but fast. He's like, that's the knock on Brian Robinson, right? Is he doesn't have the breakaway speed and maybe he's not as elusive, but he's got that, like, he seeks out contact almost.
I'm not seeing anything, any injury reporting on him.
All right, good. I misheard it. Ignore that.
No, you might be right, but I don't see it.
All right, if you're not seeing any reporting, we're rocking with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I got my eye on is Chris Rodriguez for sure. He's the number one guy I'm looking out for, and then Terry and Deron Payne.
Well, I think our backs in general, I mean, to me, I like our backs a lot.
Yeah, it's a decent group.
Yeah.
It's a decent group. So, let's do some predictions. Pop, I already said it, minus 13.5. Do you think we cover?
I'm not going to pick the Commanders at this point. I
you
just can't
right?
do it. I would, I think there is a scenario where they can stay competitive. We don't know who's going to start a quarterback. I think that's going to make a big difference here.
Yeah.
But I'll go Niners as an official pick.
I'm with you. I agree. I think you just have to go 49ers. There's no reason to go anybody else.
Yeah, especially coming off a loss. So it's not going to be easy for them. A short turnaround in the week and coming across country is going to be a tough spot for them. So, plus, like you said, they're a little beat up. But, and if it is Jacoby, he could give that team a little bit of a spark. But I'll still pick the Niners.
Yep. So let's get into our bottom bets. What do you say?
Yeah.
Go around the league a little bit.
Had a good week.
Had a very good week. 4-2. So Pop 40, 37-4 on the year. Me 42, 35-4 on the year. So
pretty good. Pretty
damn
good.
solid. I guess we have an opportunity to add some more pushes here with these square lines. But we got Jets at Browns Thursday Night Football. Browns are 7-point favorites there with Joe Flacco. Slinging it.
I wish I had a better Baltimore accent.
Flacco.
Flacco.
Is he elite? Should we reopen the Joe Flacco elite conversation?
No, it is crazy what's going on.
He's spinning it, man.
This might be before your time, but I remember like Vinny Testaverde late in his career, another great Italian QB.
There it is, better than Tommy DeVito.
But I mean he's having a resurgence, and it's wild. Yep. It's wild. They've already re-signed him, I think.
I saw a pretty funny tweet. It said he played against Troy Polamalu, so these new safeties are nothing to him. He had to see Polamalu twice a year, which I mean, we've talked about. There's been a lot of discourse about where the league's at now and the quality of the play. But, yeah, quarterback definitely used to be better than it is now, and Flacco's maybe showing it.
I mean, he
threw for like 380 yards last week.
I mean, the Browns have the third best record in the AFC. If they weren't in the same division with the Ravens, they have the third best record. So they're the fifth seed because of the fact that
they're a very good football team.
Yeah, and so they're making a run, and it's really interesting. I mean, I'll just say it. I'm going Browns there. I think the Jets suck.
Yeah, you got to go Browns there. The Jets suck. We just suck more.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy, but once Brissett came in, we were clearly, and I know sometimes dynamic and momentum of the game changes, but we were clearly the better football team with better quarterback play there. So I got no confidence in the Jets. I think the Browns are going to spank them.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially at home.
I'm with you on that. Trevor Siemian is just Trevor Siemian. There's not much you can do there. We got Lions at Cowboys. Cowboys 6-point favorites Saturday night at 8:15.
Nice little Saturday night game there for
Very
sure.
good game. Yeah, 6 points is a lot here. What do you like, Pop?
If I'm on the fence, I'm going to go against the Cowboys, and I'm on the fence on this one, to be honest. So Lions are playing good ball. I'll go Lions.
I'm not on the fence, and I'm also not intentionally tailing you, but I'm taking the Lions here. I think that's a smash pick. Dolphins at Ravens. Ravens 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Ravens. What do you like, Pop? Ravens at home on New Year's Eve.
I'm going to ride with the Ravens, too. They're just playing
cold weather
football.
game for the Dolphins.
They got to prove it to me that they're not going to beat them. But that's a big one. Standing-wise, that's a really
very big one because the Dolphins are kind of nipping at their heels in the AFC, and I think if the Dolphins beat the Ravens, then it comes down to week 18, right?
I don't know who's got the tiebreak on that. But I guess head to head. I mean,
I don't know how.
Head to head's the first one, I think. So
tell you what, you don't gotta ask me about how draft position works. I know all about that. But playoff seeding is not something we've had to familiarize ourselves with.
That's a big one.
The Washington media.
Let's just say it's for the number one seed in the AFC.
So we both took the Ravens there. And
yep.
then Sunday, Bengals at Chiefs. Chiefs are 7-point favorites. Bengals obviously without Joe Burrow. What do you like there, Pop?
This is, Chiefs are just not playing well.
Been saying it all year. Nobody wants to hear it.
I'm with you. I'm convinced at this point, but so that's another tough one, but I'll go Chiefs at home and just hope that they finally, break out, turn things around a bit.
Yeah, it's just if Burrow was healthy, you take the Bengals, of course. But it's just so hard to bet on Mike Browning over Patrick Mahomes, right? You gotta take the Chiefs there.
Yeah.
And then you got Packers at Vikings. Vikings 1.5-point favorites on Sunday Night Football.
Man, this is like a coin flip. Both teams 7-8. Both teams kind of inconsistent.
In the hunt, in the Ron Rivera hunt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd say Green Bay's got the better quarterback. Minnesota's just kind of a revolving door.
Mullins has been all right.
He's all right. Good defense. Who you picking?
I'm taking the Packers.
I'm going to take the Vikings just because you picked the Packers.
There it is.
No other good reason.
Make it easy,
because
yeah.
We picked every other game the same again. So
We did. So I'll take the Packers there. It's all going to come down to that. Guys, let's wrap this thing up without further ado.
That was fun.
That was a blast. It was a great time.
This is Pop.
Thanks for another great week, guys.
I think we did all right. A little over 30.
31. I got to make a couple edits.
Yeah.
Love me, baby.